Yeah, she already said your audio's included.
There we go. Yep. Just enabled it.
Yeah. It used to be they used to have it in when you started broadcasting through the old ways, like it'll pop up in the party chat. So that's why if you watch some of our old streams, you'll hear us say uh, having people check the party chat and uh, check the box to include the audio.
Actually, that's what popped up right when you started on my Xbox Game Bar on PC. But yeah, are you talking about in game? You'll get something that says, so and so is streaming. Uh,
uh, Something like that. Yeah.
yeah, we're good to whenever you want to start, man. You can start it off. We'll get this thing going. What do you want to know, man? What do you what are you
Well,
curious about?
it's been a while uh since I think we had you on here.
Yeah, it's been a long time actually.
So let's go from the last time that we spoke to you on here to what you're doing now.
All right. You said you already are streaming, yeah? It's going.
Yeah.
Well, first, it's good to be back. Uh, my Xbox name is it's Jason Bourne 9. I'm currently the host of the Milsim Battlefield 4 Milsim headquarters community. So, thanks to Squid for having me back on. Uh, Want to get on here and talk about what the current state of the game is Milsim wise, and just give an update to everybody. And we're running things a little differently and bringing in kind of new blood, but we'll go back to where it started. So, um, last time I was on here, we were talking about that was when Sparrow and that was when Onyx and just the, I guess, heavy hitter, units that had a lot of the, big asset players, stuff like that. I was in 18th and getting my first taste of Milsim in that game.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit going on back then.
Yeah, man, that was interesting. That was when 3BO and Hammy and then Nex and P and all them were still around, and we were their target. So I got thrown into the fire real quick. But after that, I mean, Sparrow just upped and left after we got just mollywopped on Zvad. But basically, kind of just explored my avenues after that. That whole experience opened up my eyes and just meeting people and stuff like that. So I branched off and went into, I mean, God, I went into one cav, not the one cav we're going to talk about later on, but the correct one cav. And
Was that if I remember correctly? Because I know there's the one ran by Hernandez, and as soon as that one went to shit, then another one popped up. Are you talking
yes,
about Hernandez's
so
one calf?
so Hernandez has been running one cav for God as long as I can remember,
Fuck.
and the one
Well,
cav,
yeah, it wasn't too long after I joined this whole Milsim thing back in 15 or 16. I heard his name.
yeah, and I mean, from what I've been told back then, he ran pretty. I mean, he was clean. He was a bigger unit. Um, how he did a few things was, questionable by all means. But what became a problem with him running one cav is, uh, 11th and Air Striker, and that unit. I mean, an old. It's been around for a long time. They had a mutiny, I guess you can say, or a group of guys that they decided as a group to leave and they made their own thing. Well, they decided to do one cav. Well, they ran Hernandez out of the community, and quite frankly, they did it because he just wasn't simming correctly, and this is when the whole
But
state of
he
community.
got I know he got into some beef with he got into what do I say what's the word? It's not quick because it did take some time for him to rectify it. But I know he and the MAs got into some shit because some of the Army MAs were pointing out that some shit that he was doing was wrong, and it just divulged into a whole pissing contest. I guess till everyone got sick of it.
Yeah, no, I mean that sounds about right. I mean, even today, to this day, right now, um, he's no longer in the current, active community. He's going to be coming back most likely, and that's, but
Now, what community are you mainly like?
the Milsim
We all
headquarters.
know, yeah, Milsim headquarters. That's the one you're in. That's
That is
out
the
of
only active
that,
one.
and that's the only active one.
NetHub is not active. It is basically a place where guys go there. They'll talk in C chat and just
It's man,
bullshit and
yeah, it's
hangout place, I guess you can call it. It has a lot of old kits and
pretty much
stuff.
like the little lounge area or
Yeah,
the USO.
100%. And they don't. You'll get guys in there who are posting the correct info to get roles and stuff, but they don't do a single thing in there. Whereas we'll then track back to how this community, when I came into this community was ran. Kemp started it from 2ID, and I didn't even know anything about it. This was when I was in 29 ID, ran by Reach, and it was pretty active. I mean, it was it was fairly active at the time, and that went on for a good while. And then we had some individuals show up because Temps had already had his memes that he calls blacklisted, so they weren't able to come in here. But there was a deal cut to bring back 2 or 3 units that were there to cause trouble. I'll say, specifically Net Striker, who ended up getting re-blacklisted, I guess. And there's
I remember seeing it. It's like I know he was blacklisted from one community. I saw things before a lot of shit went down in MHQ before I left. Because I honestly thought the server got nuked or some shit.
well, it was pretty. I mean, there was a point where it was dead, man. I mean, and he took a part. He came in there and he brought a team and a group of guys that next is he'll play the game and do Milsim for as long as his attention span can, is into it. So, and what he was doing is going around and just raiding teams to a pulp, and then just taking all their guys and just becoming a huge thing. But how he was,
It sounds awfully familiar because I remember seeing something like one of our used to do that back in the old days.
oh, Chase is one of our, yeah,
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 it's like it'll be like a they get into a fucking shit fit with some other group, um, and I guess they drop like it gets to the point where they drop a war dog or whatever, and when it comes to like signing the whole peace thing, I don't remember exactly whose unit he did it to, but I know there's a couple units out there that one of a few of the terms were their forces were merged into one of ours to quote unquote learn how to sim better.
when in all reality, we know what that really means.
That's just a fucking
Yeah.
bullshit.
You know,
And yeah, we even have fucking recon marines try to help chase out any fucking that shit. that's a whole another episode I don't want to go into.
it's quite amazing. I mean, people, there's still people that take the game seriously, right? Now, it's not in a state of what it once was, but for Nets to come in there and there were active teams actually, And what he was doing, I mean, he did this to me. He pulled me into a party and he had a group of guys, and I was I was in a command spot in 29 ID, infantry side, and I was brought up by the old timers, from 3RB, from B's, 3RB, Frost, Illview, all Heartless, Cobra, all those guys. So, I'm gonna stick with those guys because they introduced me to it. But he was just coming in there, and he would tell you what you want to hear, and he'd try and poach you, and it's. But then when you get into an engagement with him, he's running stuff that is. You shouldn't have 4 or 5 recons lazing, and then you're running like 10 to 14 jabbies on Firestorm. That's just.
Yeah, that's
That's.
why the other inmates don't really get along with him.
Yeah, I mean, so, we have that whole thing go down, and there's a big thing that Reach and,
I know Nemesis doesn't put up with this shit.
and that's the thing, people aren't assertive to kind of just say, like, dude, it's fine. You can be as, big-headed or egotistical as you want, but you're ruining the experience of other guys. And I know you may not, you know, you're like, you want it to, you want it to be your powwow. You want to be the face of attention, but it's like, at the end of the day, let the guys just play. You're not going to do it correctly. I mean, why are you here? You know? So that whole situation goes down and he gets blacklisted again. And there were still units, but it did a lot of damage to the community where it really never recovered. And units kind of just fizzled off, and what was left, and we went down to the brink. And I had eventually gotten a moderator position in the community to help organize and just, keep everything in check and give roles. Well, then there was
it ain't like the old days. Fucking
line CC.
Line CC. Line CC. You pissed someone off. They'll bring in some alt account, claims to be someone else, and they fucking nuke that shit.
That's it. So
That's
it's
why
funny.
there was always a backup because people always know what's happening. Like as soon as you have like a new proof of 5, someone will say that, put into a backup, and then if the main server got nuked, people just invite folks to the other one, and it'd be like another flip of another card. Like as soon as the backup becomes the main, another backup's made. It's like a little Hydra effect.
And that's what you have to do, unfortunately, because people.
And then people started coming over to Discord because they got tired of this shit. And so it didn't take long. It was like a year later or so.
I never really experienced
There was
line
like
CC.
there was a couple BF5 servers that got nuked because they let someone become a moderator who just ended up destroying most of the shit.
Oh, I was in two of those, and that's the thing that's frustrating.
Were you in the one that there was a Snake Infinite's BF5 CC, and he got into some shit, and I know Krieg took over, and fucking I woke up one day and it's like I found out I'm the fucking new owner. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
I remember exactly that was it, because you were an 82A.
He fucking pissed off a lot.
That was when the times were good.
Those are simpler times.
That was when there was actual, I mean, yes, we didn't have the private servers, private hardcore servers. I don't even think we had private servers at that point. We were using... There was a point you were still honored that we did get private servers, but they were still core settings. But that was when you had
core settings before hardcore settings got dropped.
And that was when there were no German units, and if you were a German unit, you had to have some skill to play.
Oh, dude, people had...
It's 58th, man. That was mine.
58 came in. 58th was in BF1 CC, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And they were as big as they were in BF5. The biggest German unit was 123rd.
And they were also from
Those
BF1.
motherfuckers pulled up. They filled fucking at least 2.5 servers.
Yep, Blazing and Miller, they were, man.
If I could find that fucking. I know I posted a video on YouTube. It was one of the more. Is that what was his name? Jew Kaiser found out some shit with the Chase,
Yeah.
and they put out a statement saying 123 won't help 1FR, and as soon as that fucking shit got posted, left and fucking right, it was it was bad.
Yeah, that
Left and
was.
right, people were dropping docs on fucking 1FRs. I know Seven and Mark got involved. Uh, just to name one big. 7-0 was another big uh, unit. They started going ham. It got comical, like some Looney Tune episode.
You know, it's amazing because, you know, I look at, you know, the CCs that, you know, were, you know, made now. It's there was nothing like it was in that game. And I mean, I know we're getting away from BF4, but it's worth to talk about because people talk so much shit about BF5, and it did have potential. There were good
I
people
was
that were running it.
disappointed. I was honestly hoping because when before BF5 came out, when we got word like we got the reveal and all that shit, I was convinced they were gonna if they put as much work as they did in BF1 with having like the I forgot what DLC it was. What was the DLC with like uh the map was mainly water and you have some islands. You have like each team had a destroyer or two.
Oh yeah.
I I was actually convinced they were gonna do something like that for BF5. But come to fucking find out they fumbled this shit faster than fucking OJ fucked up his life. I mean shit.
It's it's sad too because I mean, I remember, you know, clapping and, you know, Art Clapping, who he was
I don't know what
EXO.
he's doing nowadays.
Yeah, I still talk to him. He and I, you know, you know, he and I are good friends outside of Milsim, and you know, I'm glad to have met that group of guys, and I've stuck with him, and we all still talk today.
Is he still doing Milsim or is he just like focusing more on IRL work?
So he does. He is in a competitive Rainbow Six. So
He's one of those guys. I know
yeah,
we had some Milsimers that were doing Milsim, but also doing competitive R6.
yeah, you know, and I learned a lot from him about the game because he specifically worked on the game. BF5.
What?
Yeah, he
He
was
worked.
he worked. He was
He
a
worked.
part of. He was the number 2 guy for the map of Stalingrad in chapters 8 through 14. He was working on the game, and he
Wait for
was
what game?
Battlefield
R6?
5.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait, when the fuck did Battlefield 5 get Stalingrad?
they never did. They threw away all that. They discarded
Fine.
all that content.
Cause I know. Yeah, I was gonna say because that didn't sound like. I know. In the reveal, they showcased like a list of all the factions. We got USSR. I think China was part of them.
Yeah, they listed
Japan,
so much
England.
stuff. They listed factions and
Oh,
theaters and vehicle, you know, mobile artillery. I
they
mean,
fucked that up more than Blizzard.
we'll just say that I sent a couple emails just expressing my disappointment that I had to be as polite as possible, but how do you tell
It's like, don't
people
be surprised if you found a pile of dog shit on your front doorstep.
literally I mean how do you tell you know your buyers if you don't like it don't buy it? Like what the fuck? The fact that
And that's what it kind of happens. Like,
yeah, the EA
and,
senior advisor, you know,
and EA, they had to push to make up for that. I know, because I think that was around the time when they were just starting to get, right before the time they got embroiled in the whole microtransaction shit.
yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, ever since the live service model has been introduced to games, they'll never ever be the same. At least, I mean, BF1, man, I'm okay with paying an extra $50 and I'm getting guaranteed content. And it was, dude, BF1's, you know, extra content was spectacular. I mean,
they're supposed to be working on another Battlefield, but that's.
I'll
I
be
feel like they're not really in a right, but like in a what's that? What's that one thing they call when you're like you're writing stories and shit, but you set yourself up to write another story, but you have a hard time with it.
oh
Something block.
it, yeah. I mean, here's my
Writer's
thing.
block. That's it.
What is it?
Writer's block.
Oh,
So you're having a hard time coming up with shit. Like COD kind of had the same thing. Like no one really liked Infinite Warfare. People were,
people didn't like
to put it
Ghosts.
politely, kind of iffy on Advanced Warfare, but people just like the whole Modern Warfare. Like, of course, they had the remake in Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 were alright. 3 fucking blew ass. It was not like the originals.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? These guys. What people don't understand also is as consumers, we literally allow this shit to happen. And when after having conversations extensively with Clapping about the process, he even told me, he's like, listen, if we wanted you know Bioware Dice or EA, if we wanted Battlefield 5 to be what we said it was to be, we had to add we had to do at least 5 years of development minimum to feel comfortable releasing it. But then we would have to put it in overdrive, a year and a half to give you that, where you're getting a satisfaction for what you paid for. But he says games nowadays, it's so backwards because they're making them, hand over
They'll say you
fist.
get one thing, but you won't get it. You'll get something else. That's how. If you remember Division's reveal trailer,
Yep.
so like how, oh, you can download the app and you won't be if you're not online. You can play through your phone and shit, and like they'll have you appear as some kind of armed drone.
It's just
But
horrible.
nowadays they scrap that shit.
It's horrible because with the live service model of games, people are paying full price for a product that's 30% done. And then they'll take a year and a half, 2 years of the life cycle of the game, meaning in which new content should be either worked on or released to fix the game. For example, 2042.
How long was it until we got a fucking roadmap?
In what, Battlefield 5?
Yeah, Battlefield. It was a while.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's.
That was one of the reasons people were blasting. It was like, y'all, you pretty much went at this game half-assed.
The
You
beta.
promised more than you could deliver.
The beta was
I'm
better
pretty sure
than the
there was
freaking release.
oh fuck yeah, I played that shit. I flew the Spitfire in the BF-109 better than the fucking game. And I was sitting there, one was like, why the fuck would you? I thought they nerfed that shit, but it's like
I mean, they had
maybe it's
so many, mess ups. I mean, they would adjust the TTK. They adjusted it like 7 or 8 times. I mean, and when I say adjusted it, they fucked it up at least 5 times to where they were getting significant
were
negative
they not
feedback.
beta testing this?
What? What'd you say?
Were they not beta testing it?
Well, here's the thing though, their their shareholders are on a schedule, and
Well,
they
fucking what? The ball? Fuck it. Cause your primary focus on making your concerning your game should be your customers. And fuck the shareholders can fucking wait. Because if you keep fucking up, like how they did with this game, there's no one's gonna want to even touch your game. You're gonna see this get shit end up in like a dollar bin at fucking Walmart.
problem is though, if people still are buying it. I mean, I won't pre-order another game. I haven't pre-ordered or bought. I mean, the last Call of Duty I bought was the Modern Warfare from 2019. I haven't even played Battlefield 2042 once. I saw the release trailer, and I knew right then and there
I
they got
yeah,
these old four players on the hook, and they're gonna take them to the cleaners. And what they did.
I'll be honest. I played it. I play 2014. That's what we're using to stream right now.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Um,
I heard it's gotten
it's
better.
not. It has, but for first, it was god awful. And what pisses me off, they doing away with campaign. Like campaign was what people loved about Battlefield. I mean,
Battlefield 3's campaign was the best
BF5
one.
was. What was it? Sorry, BF5 didn't have a campaign, but
Yeah, the war
BF1's campaign
stories.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah, War Stories BF1, they were fucking. That was beautiful. And of course, I didn't finish it, but BF3's
That was the one that
campaign,
sold me to the
that
franchise.
was that's top peak. The only thing that comes close to that, in my opinion, would be Bad Company 1 and 2.
Yeah, or I would compare the Medal of Honor, the two modern day Medal of Honors. Those two
Tier 1.
games, yeah, so in 2009, the first
I
Medal of
never
Honor
played
campaign.
that. I loved the trailer for it, but I never got around to playing it.
Those two games paved the way for what Battlefield, you know, basically innovated to. All the game modes and the multiplayer, code scripting came from those two games. Because I think in my favorite campaign to this day out of any game is Medal of Honor, the first one, and Warfighter. Those games, they actually had congressional hearings, and they are no longer allowed to make anything related, you know, that is similar to how they made it.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Because they were
Like
saying it's a jeopardy to the national defense. It was
yeah,
incredible
tier
what they
one
created.
was tier one's came out. I love watching like the walkthroughs and shit, like of course the cutscenes.
Yeah,
But I know I forgot when the hell I heard it. After that came out, the special forces guys that were brought in to help them, like make it as good as possible.
that was the thing. Yep.
They were, I don't say court martial, but they had an ass chewing if there ever was one.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because I mean there was so much flack that they got for that. The fact you have a congressional hearing over something like that. I mean, I give those guys a lot of respect because I mean, for me personally, I'm all about Battlefield 4's campaign, right? I liked parts of it, but it felt like a Michael Bay movie. Where Battlefield 3 and the Medal of Honor campaigns, you got a sense of of being there, and you felt it put you in
It
that
felt like
environment.
it still Battlefield 3 kind of still felt like a Michael Bay thing, but like it was a little more less ego or some shit. It's like more.
It was less dramatic in a sense of
You still had that one. What was it? New York City. They had that fucking chase through like the
the
subway and
subway,
shit.
yeah, yep, that's Operation. Yeah, that was Metro.
And, and it fucking ended up in the whole thing ended up in what, Times Square.
Yes, yep.
That's that's beautiful.
I mean, and even at the end, going back to the Medal of Honor campaigns, at the end of Warfighter, they hit you with something, that are quotes from, they do a burial service for a SEAL, and where they put the what do they call them when they're clipped onto your uniform? It's what is it? It's their
The Tridents,
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and they take them and
or
they
the
hit them into the
seals call it the
coffin,
Budweiser.
and they're doing they're sh- they're doing their best to show you and make you appreciate what every service member does, but what those guys do, and they include stuff that it makes you sit back and take a step back at everything and be like, wow. I mean, it was incredibly. It's incredible isn't the word what they did. They created something that was forever changed the franchise because that was the first introduction of Frostbite, 3. That game. So, but
The next biggest thing is the next biggest thing is gonna be what? I think Unreal Engine, right?
Well, yeah. So Dice owns the rights to Frostbite, which is a beautiful engine. It is just very difficult to work with. It really sucks to work with. It does make it does have better visuals, I'd say, in a good portion of areas than the Unreal engine. And Unity's engine is very far more simpler in a way. But I work with the UE5 engine, and from UE4 to UE5, I didn't do much of 4, but 5 is it's crazy what you can create on there. It's truly what they've come to now. But that's why I still think only Dice is in business. I don't know how they make money besides selling the license, the rights.
Probably
Or
something crack.
I don't understand it because you release something is bad. Battlefield 5 a failure in a way. 2042 massive failure, but we'll see with the next game because they have Marcus Leiterman, or he was a guy who he was just the main mastermind with the Halo 2 and Halo 3 game. He was one of the main
Oh fuck.
guys.
Yeah.
So, and they have a whole separate you know studio that is making just the campaign and only the campaign. And he's actually pretty. If you message him on Twitter, he'll get back to you. But I tell anybody now, I'm like, listen, you give these people money, you're just giving them a reason to fuck you. You gotta wait until that shit comes out. You buying it?
I mean, they can make. I mean, it's not like there's enough, like not enough shit going on in the world that they can make uh, parody stories out of. Like, I'm pretty sure there's shit you can make off that's happening that either happened or could happen in the Korean Peninsula alone. You could
Yeah,
turn it into a part of a campaign and like switch it over to the Middle East. It's like some army that's going to the Middle East and they get rotated to fucking Korea.
yeah. I mean, you don't have to, think like it's super outside of the box. You can keep it simple and just keep it grounded to where you're giving people, you know, give them what they want and don't, overcomplicate things. What worries me is ever since COVID came and all these people, working from home, why do you think Call of Duty? I mean, the Call of Duties now, the last one I think had over 50 studios working on that game. 50 studios. How do you create a good game? I
It's usually by one.
I mean, you
One right before it's like Treyarch and
yeah,
them, but like
yep. And Treyarch owns the patent to the um, skill-based matchmaking system that is that system is being used by so many other games, and I didn't even know that they would even own a patent to that. I don't know how you can own a patent to that, but that franchise is
so they use like other games using Treyarch has to get a fucking cut of it.
yeah, no,
That's
they
why if you watch the if you beat a game and you watch the credits, it's like don't be surprised if you see Treyarch in there.
yep.
But let me put a pause for the cause real quick. We need to grab another beer. So um,
You're good.
if you want to talk to the let's say I think it's like one person watching now, or to the people who are probably gonna watch this on YouTube, just like talk about. I'll let you choose.
Talk about what?
I would say talk about the whole one cap shit, but kind of want to hold off until I'm back for
That's
that
fine,
one.
yeah, dude. Yeah, pause it. I'll wait.
All right, gents. We'll be right back for a quick break. Alright, I'm back.
What's going on?
Alright, so
So
moving on from the game development, because I know it's kind of.
we'll get into the whole to the new community, and we'll get into the one Cav situation that has occurred, and um, I'll get to where I took over server owner. Um, I took over, so the group of guys came to me and they wanted me to take over server owner, and um, they had gotten together with the last remaining groups and wanted change, and they wanted something that we could have that is being able to keep what's left alive for as long as possible. And I'm like, well, we'll give it a shot. So I took it over, and I established very quick with these guys, and even the guys in the unit I'm in now, that I'm not a person to I'll work with you, and I'm all about giving being fair and not unbiased you know to both sides. So we all came to agreement. We wrote up. I don't even know, Squid, if you saw the server changes and what the community has changed as far as engagements and verification process, and I posted that yesterday, and that's this was implemented today, and we've actually had a pretty steady you know amount of activity, which I'm surprised about. Totally. I mean, I'm more surprised than I thought I would be. But what's crazy though is it's small, but I'm encouraging guys, if they're out there and they want to come back and you know have something that is not going to get destroyed. I won't allow it to get destroyed. And I've established that very quickly. Uh, and we host meetings typically every Sunday for an hour. We'll get together, 2 guys per unit, usually, COXO, myself. Um, we talk about, things that we want to put in there and not put in there. And I'm all about communication, and everybody can get a piece of the pie. And luckily, it's worked out. So.
Now, what would you like? What would the process be? Well, not a process. What? Say you have a unit, one of those BM units from like, it's run by someone from PNHQ. They, I mean, they want to do something that will be just be the start of the end for the community. They want it. They don't get their way. They start doing shit. Well, what would be the process? Hang on.
How to handle that? Well, first off, when you come in here, if you want to get verified, you will not get any roles. You will sit with the unverified role until you give us either a proof of 5 or proof of 10. If you get if you are going to take a proof of 10, there needs to be either an admin, a Milsim unit mod, from any unit, or you need a MR to be in that proof of 10, so we know it's legit. And there's no tolerance. That's what it is. And then you need a proof of server, and then you need to get your kit submitted. And if all that checks out, then you'll get verified. But to handle something like that, I simply just tell these guys, we can all work this out and come to the table, and you can make some adjustments, and then we'll work with you a little bit. But if they don't want to do that, get out. They don't want you. It's because problem is, people, they just want to ruin things, whereas I've kept it straight across the board with everyone, and I've even gotten into it with my own guys. I tell them, I don't care what you say. I can't look at it. I got to look at things from the center. left and right, and I gotta, you know, make decisions based on what's correct. And so far, everybody is happy. We've had instances like with one Cav in Hernandez, and it's funny. I mean, for a grown man, and it's crazy what people will do to try and get Discord power. Try to get, because they're not getting their way, and they cry and moan because they don't like something. But when everyone's treatment is even, there's nothing to back their argument. So I'll get into that.
All right.
We
Yeah. Sorry about that. Had an incident with the dog.
Oh, you're good, dude. You're good. But no, basically, when I first came in, I wanted everything in, they wanted all these changes, and they wanted to. I mean, I removed over probably 200 people from the server. All the inactives. I removed everybody who were starting over. They went away with the MA system. We brought back basically somewhat of the same system. It's just a new name.
Yeah,
They're
the
MRs.
MR system.
Yes. And those are all the MRs currently we know. I mean, everybody knows. But there were some guys that didn't like that. So we just changed the name and change a little bit what they do, but they still do the same thing. But yeah, one Cav was we would get together in parties and talk about, I'm like, listen, if you want me to do all this, I need you guys to give me a plan. What do you guys want? I'm not going into this and making changes, and we're going to, do it as we go. And we would get together in meetings, and I want organization. I want something written down. So I'm like, okay, I'll type this out. We get us all together. They cannot come to an agreement on the littlest of things. And it's all about me. And they don't like this, and they don't like that.
That'll benefit them.
Oh, not just that. They don't like the fact of being told, like, put in their place. And I told them, I'm like, listen, they're wanting to create so much, not chaos, but they want to make a voting system, and they want to vote for every single change. They want to vote. They want to put limitations on everything, and they want to. It's like, dude, play the game. Stop overcomplicating it. The system is what is the system, and we just went back to a more line chat, orthodox system. And he would bitch and moan, and it would get bad. And then we put the system in place. Well, 8 IDs in here, and this motherfucker, I thought I had the permissions for him to not mute and not, remove Harvey from, said chats where he belongs. It wasn't even, I'll get into him, they said he was blacklisted. He was blacklisted with Harvey. Harvey is blacklisted with the whole P incident. So when Nex came in, like I was talking about earlier, Harvey came in with Nex, and he got the shaft for it, along with a lot of other guys. But then Reach allowed Harvey to come back into the community later on after that, because he was an 8 ID. And he made his own thing, but he was fine. He got brought back in, and you know how Harvey is and how guys perceive him. He can be a little bit of, you got to keep him in check, but if you keep him in check, he's good. He's fine. Well, Harvey gets under Hernandez and, SA1 Reaper's skin, and I told those guys they put up a vote immediately after we put the system in place where you have a mod from each unit. If you have a proof of 10, a mod can throw up a vote, and they'll have 24 hours. If they have the majority, this vote is enacted. Well, they voted to blacklist this motherfucker, and I put a whole stop to that, and found out that they put him in a muted server, and they just fucked a lot of shit up, and 8ID went after them. And when I mean went after them, yeah, it was pretty
What all
embarrassing.
happened?
Yeah, they dropped the war doc, um, and basically told Hernandez, "We will be in your server every single day, and then when we're done with you, you and all your little, you know, serfs can come with us." And I totally was like, there's a lot of us, there's a lot of tension between everyone, and they were doing it. One cat was playing, the run and cry like little bitch game, and they were putting on infantry only, and they still got slapped up. They lost one match on locker, but other than that,
Put it on a locker.
yeah, dude. Well, here's the thing, right? These guys, they have their little. There's a few of them that have their cliques, and they say they don't have their powwows, but they are afraid to play assets, and they put it on the most, ridiculous maps, and they wonder why. For example, I'll talk about 8ID using a map glitch on Operation Metro to break out of the spawn trap that that they were threatening to get blacklisted the whole unit for by SA1, when I found out SA1 banned and kicked 8ID from their server when they were being raided. So dude, we're dealing with children here, and I'm having to deal. I'm like, what kind of show do you guys think you're running here? This is, if your server's up, if you're not in there and those guys get in there before you, there's no kicking, there's no banning, there's no setting up the spawn trap. That ain't happening. But it said they did that, and they put 8ID in a spawn trap that should never have happened. So they used a in-game map. I wouldn't say glitch, but it's a way to get around.
Kind of like a little exploit.
Yeah. And they got behind him, and I says, honestly, I don't blame them whatsoever. I says it was wrong of you guys to even put it on that map in the first place. You don't even give the other team a chance. 2, you ban them from the server with no legitimate reasoning behind it, and then you play the victim game. No. So Hernandez was involved with that too. They were all in coots. They wanted 8ID and they wanted Harvey gone. Well, I basically told them to all get fucked. I says, you guys weren't even here when this place was dead. Harvey wasn't even doing anything wrong. He could talk a little too much, but Gorgon just had me removed from one of the chats to keep him out of leadership chat. That's all I had to do. So I did that. So now Hernandez, because I went against him, in his little, powwow of, yes men, he starts coming at me and pulling my guy, my CO in the parties, and just being very, it's his way or the highway. Telling him, fuck the Jason dude, and fuck, he's got too much power.
You call this leadership?
It's crazy. It's crazy, dude. It's like, I've been nothing but fair to these guys, right? And it gets even better.
How the fuck does it get better?
Oh, it gets better, right? Because I'm willing to talk with all these guys, and I gave logical reasoning behind what I was doing, as far as Harvey's not getting blacklisted. I got 8ID to come to the table and, come to terms with one Cav and say,
have a whole come to Jesus talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like, listen, I told 8ID, I'm like, listen, that vote ain't going through. I don't care what Hernandez says. He can call me whatever insult he wants. I'll laugh at him. I says, we're not even thinking. It's because you throw up a vote because you don't like somebody. Dude, grow up, man. Mute the guy. Figure it out. You're a grown man. But so 8ID has been really, they were appreciative of that. And I mean, I defended Harvey, because it's the right thing to do. And then I've been supportive of that, and they've been supportive of me, along with other units. I'm keeping things level-headed, centered. So, but then I come to find out, one Captain Hernandez, after I message Hernandez, seeing if we can get together, talk one-on-one about our differences, he's going behind all the units to try and sway votes to get me basically removed, everything stripped, no longer server owner, I'll be banned from the server. And I get told this. Oh yeah, dude, I messaged this guy, being the person saying, listen, we talk in a party later. How can we move past this? Because you clearly don't have any, sense or want to work with me, and I want to change that because it's not good. I mean, I listen to what he has to say. I mean, just fuck, he could have something better on an idea than I could. But no, I mean, and he said yeah, and he was buttering up everything, and
He's pretty much he's saying shit that he knows you want to hear.
yeah, and I'm very I take a lot of what guys say with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, until you show me, I mean, I saw within the first 3 days of the new system, before we implemented the policies yesterday, the bias in the votes that were being put up, things that, policies he wanted to put on our sheet to then make a master sheet on, everything was so biased in ways to protect himself and his unit. I said, dude, I'm willing to just talk to you and say, hey, we are going to be working together. Can we be more cordial? Well, yeah, no, I got word from 3 or 4 units, 3 units specifically, that gave me actual, verification. He was going around getting them into parties, so it wasn't on Discord, and he was willing to do whatever to get them to sway votes to get me gone. So then I just called him out, and all hell broke loose at that point. All hell. We rated him, and they put it on full assets, and we mollywopped him. I mean, it was on Sunken Dragon.
This is on Battlefield 4, right?
Oh yeah. This was.
Oh, fucking Sunken Dragon.
Oh yeah, and they put us in a spawn trap. We broke it out. We broke out in like 4 minutes, not even. And when I mean, they did all the things they were bitching and complaining about, as far as not simming correctly and calling Harvey memes, and calling guys that are memes.
I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm hearing all what y'all saying, and hearing all this shit that's going on. It kind of makes me want to fucking just go join a unit, get back into the fucking shit, just to get up to close to where you are, just to start fucking laying the fucking cold hand on some of these units.
Dude, listen, man. What we got going on right now, we have something good.
Just say the fucking word, man. I'll find a unit, just join it. It's like, fucking, we'll go from there. It's like,
if you want a good unit, if you want a good unit that has some old heads, you can join my unit, or First, Colonel Evil and First they came back and are running up again. There were rumors about 5MR, Siegel coming back.
You mean Crow?
Well, yes, Crow essentially, but Siegel would be running the unit.
Who's Siegel?
That's his EXO that he brought up, through original 5MR, who ran the second version.
I was part of 5MR back when they had that beef with one of our.
Oh, that was oh
That was before uh, one of our pulled them into the little sway. 'Cause I know when they got booted out of this community online, one of our SSO and a few others. I know Lady Axel's unit was in there.
oh yeah, that was Sparrow's unit. Too. Sparrow's unit was involved in that too.
Yeah, they came and went into like they one of our main community Discord, right? SSO, Ladies, Sparrows, 5 Mars. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be counterproductive because this is like, yeah, you listen to like one person who says, "Oh, I know what's going on. I know what you need." Blah. It's like, I'm not gonna trust a guy whose only job in the military was to drive around. But you didn't even make the fucking fleet, man. All you did was fucking drive around, deliver meals to the fucking people in the field or some shit. It's like, fuck out of here.
Well, and I kind of see where you're going with that because, you know, people leave and make a new CC, and
Yeah, when they don't have their fucking way. I can't even tell you how that, like, when CCs were starting to be made in the Discord after the line nukes, uh, one, I know people went to NetHub originally.
there was MCS.
They did MCS, NetHub, that people didn't get their way in NetHub, so they went off and made their own shit.
You got
I know
TMG. I mean, it's so many,
TMG,
man.
that's still up.
Yep.
As far as I know.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of dead.
You know,
Uh,
it's just sad because, in here's why I'm happy with the situation we're in right now, and it proves my point. One Cav said that they were going back to the line, and they left,
no,
right?
they're fucking not.
So they left, right? And because they stood everything they complained about simming wise, we gave them a fucking itinerary of stuff that they fucked up on, and we bullied them out of the server. And 8ID said, "Yep, we'll be in your server. We'll be in your server every day for a week." We were right back in the shit. Like, okay, that's fine. After 8ID's done, we want your deeds, and we have it in place now to where we're policing ourselves, trying to. That's what I kind of want to happen, and with there being no communities active, Hernandez can fill a server, you know, basically full. So it's a worthy unit to have and keep, but there's no one else. There's nowhere else to go. And the vote to impeach me and remove me, it got zero yeses and all no's. So it got thrown right back in his face. And they basically.
I'll be honest, I think he lit. If I remember correctly, I think he. Well, I live in Oklahoma. I'll put that out there. So if anyone wants to come, anyone wants to try to come find me, they could catch the smoke. But I'm pretty sure Hernandez lives in the same state I do.
I think you are correct. Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, I know. He's on the south side. He's probably not anymore. He probably moved, but I know someone doxed him. And then he messaged me. He's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, he's like south of where you're at." Fuck. Okay.
It's just.
This is back in the fucking wild times of BF5.
And it's
But not BF5, but Battlefield Milsim. Well, yeah, people that we were. I'm not sure if you remember, but there was a time when people was like getting to beefs. It did get to the point where like they find where they are, and it's like, oh yeah, don't make me make a fucking 30-minute trip.
Oh, the whole Faticus and Onyx thing, yeah.
Oh, that's like 3 hours away from me.
Yeah, man, I was in that whole.
He tried to go after fucking
Onyx.
not trip, no. There's another guy. He works in Texas.
That's a crazy dude, man. He's a
I don't know,
crazy.
people called him out. Like one thing, I forgot what year it was, but like it was one of those like either New Year's or 4th of July, and it was starting to go around that instead of taking his daughter to a fucking fireworks show like she wanted to, he's like, no, we can't. I want to go do Milsim shit. Like, the fuck? Like, how the
See,
hell you gotta preach out here and act like you're a damn father, a good father at that? It's like you're gonna put a fucking video game here for your kid?
well, that's where it becomes,
Nethrol. That's who he was. He went after Nethrol.
you
I
know.
doubt you know who that was.
I mean, but to go on, to talk about what the situation you're describing. That's a point in time where it's like, dude, real life and shit like that. It's a game, okay? And I know it was crazy back then, but that's why you put people in place to, you know, handle what goes on when you step away or you got to go do something. But
Dude,
it's your
not
daughter,
even, yeah.
you know?
Take your kids, go out. Like, you can't even heat it in a fucking online argument on an online video game. It's like getting into a pissing contest on 4chan.
Well, that's the thing, though, man. I mean, and that's when it was crazy from what I know. And it, I never really, I mean, I've experienced it in a way, but I wish I was really, really around for when shit like that happened because, man, from people telling me,
You would have been smoking by now.
I mean,
you you would have been down like fucking three fucking packs of cigarettes by now.
you see, the thing is, though, man, like, I live for I can sit in a 4,000 ticket server and not get bored. I mean, I've done it, done it a couple times. I've done it, recently. I've done it at least 2 or 3 times in the last year. But guys don't want to actually, put in the time, to do stuff nowadays. And they say the game's dead. And yeah, sure, it is definitely not what it used to be. But when you look at the player counts, it says otherwise. People are still playing this game. It's still one of the most, you know, highest played games as far as player count.
I'm,
So
I'm pretty sure BF3 servers, like BF3's communities back up.
yeah, actually, and they did maintenance to the servers recently. I played a few games on some USC servers. I
It feels weird playing BF3 or a game from that time on, let's say, an Xbox Series X or S.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as quite the same, but it does give me that nostalgia of playing an actual good game
It's
because
like, but like you play Halo CE from like the first Xbox, and you prop it in the fucking Series X.
yeah. But I
Uh,
mean,
I didn't get on this shit fucking until like Halo 3 back in soon after it launched. I had like a whole 360. Like the only thing I was missing to get myself online was a little wireless adapter they put on the back of the 360s.
oh yeah, I know
And
exactly what you're talking about.
got one of those for my birthday, slapped it on there, and fucking the first taste of online multiplayer was like beautiful. It was Halo 3 to start it off.
You know,
Couldn't get better.
it's just it is quite to what I want to tell people and what I hope I try I came on here to talk and explain everything. um we're functioning as a community. There are ups and downs and there are definitely issues that we come across, but I'm very transparent about what I do, and as far as I'm fair to everybody, but there's a point where there's
Even
limitations to
when you
that.
have to draw the line.
Yeah, when you have to drop the hammer like I did yesterday, because if you we had an issue or two with the floodgate. The floodgates get open with some kit stuff, and we had a unit that was using the SSG 553, in which the MRs tore apart on this 2 SFG kit, and these guys just they were trying to stack votes against it and to not have it banned and this and that. But I ultimately came in there and said, listen, these guys are in here for a reason. We're using them. The mods don't have any say over the kits. It's the MRs. And I said, and I'm keeping it to where we don't allow memes in there. And if they do want to come in there, that's fine. Come in here. You gotta. Our fucking sheet we made gives us. You have to give us all the verification stuff, and then we can ask for, ask you for a new proof of 10 anytime you want. Just to basically how people check, unit sim by going in their server. I'm gonna check your proof of 10 or your proof of 5. I'm gotta stay adamant on these things because we've had guys try to put in, fake proof of 10s. Nope, ain't happening. I mean, we went back to the hours of operation for raids, so it's from 1900 to 2100 CST, I believe, or is it 2100 EST? Either way, that means either a unit can say, can be courteous to say, hey, we need those deets. You have 45 minutes. We may change it down to 30. You have 45 minutes to provide and open up your server. And if you don't, you're unverified. And if, in those hours of operation,
It seems
45 minutes, I think it's a little too long.
It's common sense wise, it seems right to just keep it at 45 because, if you want, it takes some folks longer than 30 minutes to get their eggs in a basket.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I don't want to be so quick to jump the gun, and because I was taking suggestions from people, and they were like, we should do 10 or 15 minutes. I said, listen, we're not trying to just kill what we have. We got to ease into it, ease into the changes. We can adjust later, but I says 45 minutes, and if you have good friends, you can muster up more guys to get in there, because I'd always like to see more people get in there, because then you get a better fight. Better time for everybody else. But if a unit backdoors their server, there's no kicking, no banning. If they have 5 of the same tags and they join, don't matter if you're in a JTO, don't matter what you're doing. Within those hours of operation, they're in there. It's a raid. It's on. There's no, we want your deets. No, we're going back to the old times. And people, I thought I would get a lot of flack for it, but I have not. A lot of people are. I would say that a lot of people are happy with what I'm doing, and they are. I'd like to continue to, provide a space and help, moderate things to where I'm not overstepping, but drawing the line of giving everybody the best experience possible with what's left. Because there are new units joining. I mean, and word has gotten out. And, that's why I kind of want to come on here, because I don't want to, advertise to the memes. But if people are looking for that, come in, man. More than welcome. We ain't letting people in here who are incompetent put into positions. No. It's very straightforward. If you can't get with the picture, you just don't need to be here. We don't keep them in the server and have a little circle jerk fest. It's guys have already asked me to nuke the server from the old servers. They're like, why don't you just nuke it? Like why? It's crazy. They don't let people just enjoy the game. Enjoy it. I mean, it is what it is, though, man. I mean, that's why I'm happy to see, I'll take it in strides. I'm happy to see everybody is, buying into what we're doing. Because it's had its ups and downs and still a work in progress. But, Rome wasn't created in a day. So that's the way I look at it. But yeah, if
But,
you'd like to join a unit, dude, you're more than welcome. I mean, it's
but yeah, let's see how shit goes. Like I know there's gotta be some fucking the OG. There comes a time when the OGs have to step back in and just put the young ones back in their place.
yeah, man, and listen, I'm all for hearing people out in open to any changes or anything that people want to see. Maybe a process gets better, but you know, there's a line in the sand, and the fact is we have actual, the community and units that are getting in AARs, talking about things, you know, actually having conversations, and it's not a fucking, screaming match, and it's productive. And having the meetings on Sunday for an hour with all of us, all the stuff we've had on our guidelines, we've all had conversations of. Everyone's had pieces on. We've all come to agreements. Myself and Navy, worked, and Navy wrote up the document, but he and I provided all the key points that we put on there. So it's,
I haven't seen Navy in a while. We used to be part of the same unit.
yeah, it used to be 1FR.
But yeah, besides one of our, it did bring him into when I tried to run 7th Fleet. That's fucking I forgot what the hell he was.
Yeah, it's just I had a conversation with Evil from First yesterday and Collider, and they were talking about the line times, and you know again, I wasn't really in that, but I said I'll do my best to. There are things that I'm gonna keep, but I'm gonna try and give us that experience back, and we just have to police ourselves and hold each other accountable. And I tell people, I says, you see me fucking up, call me out, fucking let it out there. You got records of anything? I says, anything called out needs to be documented, proofed on anybody, and everybody's, we'll see, right? We'll see how it is in 2 weeks. But from what's happened in the last month and a half to 2 months, significant changes. Significant.
Yeah. All right, about ended up getting close to the end times of this.
No, I appreciate you.
Any last things you want to say to the audience before we go?
I appreciate you letting me come back on here and shoot the shit and talk about what's going on, and want to tell people to come back if they ever so wish. So thanks for having me.
No problem. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like always, this stream is unofficially sponsored in part by Coors Light. Hopefully, we get their blessings to sponsor us one day.
You're gonna say Bud
Yeah.
Light.
Anheuser-Busch, they'll be a lot of ass kissing. But anywho, ladies and gents, hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.